Well, alrighty then, here we are. We're about to talk about or learn about an aspect of child development that's a little uncomfortable for most adults, and that's sexual development. Most early childhood teachers don't realize that sexual development begins in infancy and continues on throughout all the ages of childhood, and parents have a responsibility to help support that development, and so do teachers. Now, I want you to understand that we do not directly in school systems talk about sex with our students directly. However, you can still support sexual development. In early childhood, we do that by understanding the stages of sexual development, the milestones and characteristics of each age related to sexual development. The biggest favor that you can do yourself as a teacher when it comes to sexual development is not jumping to huge conclusions. While we do want to protect our children and report sexual abuse, we don't want to automatically jump to the conclusion that they're being sexually abused because they have sexual curiosity. Some big things to think about is sexual curiosity is natural and normal at all ages. There are different types of sexual curiosity that happen at different ages, and that's what you're going to learn about. And then some sexual play is also typical at different ages. Different ages have different types of sexual play. However, I will warn you, it is never, ever, ever, ever easy to deal with. When a child engages in sex play with another child, that other child's parents are always upset. And rightly so. They want to protect their child, and you want to protect them too. So how do we balance all of this? And there are a couple of articles. Actually, this whole module is articles, online articles for you to read, and I cannot stress enough how important it is that you do read them all, because the compilation of these articles will give you a wonderful background and help you to know what to expect at each age with sex play and what to do with that knowledge. As I said in the intro to the module video, the biggest mistake that teachers make is assuming that because children have sexual curiosity or sex play, particularly masturbation, they assume a child's being sexually molested or sexually abused, and that's just not true in all cases. Sometimes it is true, but masturbation itself is not a sign of sexual abuse. It isn't. Just so you know, the biggest sign of sexual abuse is when children can engage in actual sexual maneuvers that they should not be aware of. That's the biggest sign. And them actually telling you that they are. So, but this section of the module is really not about sexual abuse. That will happen later in the semester. This particular module is understanding sexual development at each of the ages, and I hope that it's enlightening, and I hope that it helps you think about ways that you can support that development as a teacher without going too far. For example, there's that story about Johnny. Little Johnny wanted to know where he came from, so he went to his mom and said, "Mom, where did I come from?" And the mother was like, "Oh no, here it is. It's time for the birds and bees talk. Okay, so, well, when a mom and dad love each other, blah, 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 blah." And she had the sex talk with her son. He was 4. And he said, "Oh, okay. Well, Jimmy says he's from Wisconsin." So you can see how easy it is to give too much information that they're not ready for. The big tips are answer the questions honestly as a parent. As a teacher, you have to be a little bit more creative and be very, very, very familiar with your school's policy and your district's policy on this kind of thing. But I can tell you as a blanket statement, most schools do not allow teachers to have these talks with children, but you do have to be aware because the parents are going to come to you and ask how to talk to the children about them. Big tip for you, find developmentally appropriate sex education books for the different ages, and also know that children need their questions answered honestly. But not too much detail and not too graphic until they're ready for it. But it is healthy to talk about it. Um, Toddlers and preschoolers should know the correct name for their body parts, and children older than that in the elementary stages do begin to learn about the progression of sexual activity and how to protect themselves and those kinds of things. So have fun with the module, and I hope you learn a lot.